And we're live. Hey, and welcome. How is going? Let me go live also on Instagram. We're starting just a few moments earlier to make sure that we are on time on things. Also, as you can see, I am filming from a new place. Finally, we moved. So this project was for the past 2 months. On top of my head, I was project moving, calling it that way, and then everything that involved moving, it was under that ClickUp task. So officially it's 1 o'clock, we're starting. People are joining while they are joining. I also want to share something that was top of mind, especially for the past 2 weeks, I'd say. And until people are joining, I'm going to share that. So going into the topic, basically, that I had on mind, right? I was looking into how to give feedback, and not only how to give feedback, but how to give proper feedback. What I noticed so far is that I really sucked when it came down to giving feedback. By sucked, defining sucked, in this case, it means that while I did give feedback to either my teammates, either people who I was collaborating with, even my spouse, even the way how I'm treating myself, what I noticed is that the feedback usually was very harsh. Either it was performing really, really well, either someone who submitted something, or whenever I gave feedback, it was very blunt, like job well done. And I was just reflecting on that for the past 2 to 3 weeks and actively working on how to give proper feedback. Now, why is this important? Is because if you're thinking this way, feedback is one of those things that most of the time people don't know how to approach, because either they are going to give just feedback in sense of job well done, very flattering, but not concise on what should they keep doing, what should they stop doing, and what should they continue doing, which basically what feedback is for, right? And then I was thinking, how can I improve that? And again, looking back to the way how I'm giving now feedback for the past 2-3 weeks, almost a month, to any person that I am collaborating with. That means any teammate, even my husband, even to people who are just joining. Hey, people, welcome. Even for how do I give feedback to myself on what to do, what not to do, and what to keep doing. Improved a lot just by applying this simple rule. Whenever I'm giving a feedback, I'm making sure that that is not flattery. By flattery, I'm defining flattery as something that sounds good but has no meaning behind that. A clear example, even for these videos, I started to give feedback to our video editor, right? So we just hired him. I think already we are 2 months in, and he's just really amazing. We had him as junior, right? So a junior, they're supposed to follow SOP step by step, and then that is the way how they are going to show that they are really, really good at whatever they are doing, by following instructions. Now, if I'm looking back, the way how I am training him as well is, okay, this is what I really liked, this is something that we should be improving, and this is what just keep on doing, or something like, hey, don't do it anymore, because that's not helpful. So I just wanted to encourage you, if you are in a position to give feedback, and probably you are in a position to give feedback, whoever you are, whatever you're doing in this life, be very careful when it comes down to giving feedback, to not give flattery, but instead give real feedback. Real feedback means actionable feedback. So the person knows what to do, what not to do, and what to keep continuing doing, because that's so, so important in helping both you, yourself, and also them achieve the desired goal. All right, I just wanted to share that a bit with you before we're starting the session, because I didn't know how easy it was to give feedback. I was very highly critical beforehand, and it was very harsh and very rude. And, if I am a high performer, I'm expecting myself to improve. Now, also, if I want to improve, should be able to guide people how to improve. So that's why I was sharing with you the new way. So simple as that, whatever you want that person to keep doing, whatever you want them to stop doing, and whatever are the things that they should be continuing doing. And Tanya also joined. Hey, 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 welcome, welcome. Awesome. I was just sharing with people who are joining until now the session, just a bit about the way how I change giving feedback. But today's session is all about Amazon ads. That's why we're here. That's why we're continuing these sessions. And that's why this is the 19th session of this kind from the year. I'm super proud of achieving a third, how much? 5 months already? We're 5 months in. People are still joining. People are asking their questions. So I'm more than happy to answer them. But hey, hey, and welcome. Officially, we're kicking off. My name is Noemi. I am the founder of Scaleway. We are a digital marketing agency specialized in helping brands between 6 and 7 yearly figures. And today's session is just for answering all the questions that you might have as beginner. We are going to prioritize those questions first because 5 years ago I was a beginner. I had all the questions and I did not know who to ask, what to ask, and really most importantly how to prioritize the information that is coming through my way. So in today's session, that is something that I'm going to aim to reply. Of course, all business questions are related. All business questions that are going to come in, I'm going to address them as well. When it comes to hiring, firing, SOPs, processes, even how to give feedback to people as I started the session. More than happy to answer those as well, but mainly we're going to address Amazon ads questions, okay? So if you're here, make sure that you're going to submit your question. Now we're streaming on multiple platforms. We're streaming on LinkedIn, YouTube, both formats, the vertical and horizontal, and also on Instagram. So if you see me going like this, I do have a 49-inch monitor in front of me going through all the questions. So bear with me until your question is going to be answered. But yeah, kicking it off right away, I'm going to start with the very first question that has been already submitted. It asks, how do I properly use Helium 10 to do keyword research for Amazon PPC? So Helium 10, it is one of the softwares that we are also using in the agency, and most sellers might be using within their their brand when selling on Amazon, especially because it's going to be very, very helpful for them to get either understanding of which keywords to use or what positions are they sharing when it comes down to market share or many, many things. But since your question is super specific when it comes down to keyword research, the way how we like to use Helium 10 is first we are going to look whatever our listings are ranking for. So we are going to find those keywords. And then the second thing, we can also find the keywords that our competitors are going to rank for and which are the keywords that are bringing them money, so we can also target those keywords within our listings, SEO, and also within our advertising strategy. So when it comes down to how do you properly use Helium 10 to do keyword research for Amazon, you would go through those two routes. So first off, you would see your listing, which are the keywords that right now you're showing up on, let's say, half top of the first page of Amazon that you're not already added into your listings that maybe have high search volume and are highly relevant to your product, and which are those keywords that you can also not only add within the listing but also advertise for, right? So that is for your own listings. Now when it comes down to competitors, you would do very similar approach, but here what you're looking into, you would take your 5 to 10 top competitors and make sure that you're going to go through and see whatever are the keywords that they are ranking for that are bringing them revenue, basically, and then how could you reverse engineer whatever they are doing. Now, very importantly, when it comes down to this strategy, first we like to implement whatever is missing from our own listing, because what we noticed is that while it's great to know what competitors are doing, most of the time you might be even neglecting whatever already works well for you, for your own listings and the keywords that are within the listing. So that is the first jump, and it's the most percentage that it's going to bring sales to us. So that's why I'm saying that's how you would do keyword research for Amazon PPC ads and also SEO when it comes down to Helium 10. Right, next question. How should I structure a PPC budget sheet to track spending and performance? So when it comes down to PPC budget sheet to track spending and performance, the way how we like to do this whenever we are providing reporting for the brands that we manage is we want to see how much money came in, how much money went out, basically. So a P&L, and then it's going to be everything that it was both organic and also ads related. So that is the revenue, top line revenue, right? And then based on that top line revenue, we are calling it TAC cost. So total A cost of goods sold, so organic plus ads. Out of that percentage, what we want to also see and know is how much did we spend on advertising to get there. Because what people might not know is that advertising also is going to help you was that you're advertising for particular keywords, and once those keywords become relevant to your customer, and Amazon is going to reward you by ranking you higher for those keywords, those are also going to help you with organic ranking, right? So this is why we are seeing it as a total rather than this is how much I spent on ads and that is it, because that spent on ads, actually it's ending up in organic sales if it's converting. Now, if it's not converting, it's not going to end up in organic sales. So what is going to be really important for you is like, what is the top revenue? And then based on the top revenue, what is the split between ad spend, and then ad sales, right? So that is ad related, and then ad spend, and then total revenue. If you know these numbers, it's going to help you tremendously with how do you structure and how do you strategize when it comes down to spending performance. Now, when it comes down to how should you structure a PC budget based on this, what is really important, it is the phase of your product. If you're in a product launch phase, for example, that means that you are going to be heavily investing on advertising that might or might not convert, especially if you are new on the market, no one really knows your product, you barely have reviews. Probably you are going to pay more to gain the trust of your customer, aka in this case, it's going to take you some more time until you're going to convert, right? Because people are just going to, even they are clicking within the listing, they're like, oh, okay, so let's say this is your product, the Blistex medicated mint balm, right? So this is already a known brand, but let's say that this is not a known brand. If you would be selling this product on Amazon and you're just new to the market, all your competitors that are selling a product that is similar to whatever you're selling are going to highly likely have more reviews, better reviews than you have. So you would need to gain the trust of your customer. So that's why I'm saying for product launch phase, usually tacos is going to be way higher. It can be up to 100% tacos when it comes down to that, because you are just, a blip on the marketplace and you're trying to make the first sales. If right now you are not anymore in product launch phase, but you want to gain additional market share, for example, for a product that you know, it would be quite similar to a product launch, because then let's say you're already spending $10,000 on ads and now you want to push top revenue 10 more or 20 more percent, then you would be investing in more advertising that might or might not convert. So then again, your tacos might be higher, but still not 100%. Maybe it's going to be 20% or so on, right? Whenever you have a product where you just want to keep low maintenance and just perform on the platform and maybe just advertise for your own branded terms and keywords, in that case, it might be that your tacos is going to be way, way lower. And here it can be anything that is under 10%. Now, very, very important is that once that you understand these three routes that you can take, that is going to help you understand how far you are from achieving a goal. Either do you want to get more market share, then you will understand I have to pay more, right, in order to get more sales. You want to keep that market share, then you also have to understand that it might be a lower tacos, but you're also risking the fact that if your competitors are going to bid more aggressively, they are going to take away market share, even from your own product. So there, just because it's a 10% tacos, that is not a good sign necessarily, but that is a sign of being proficient with whatever you are currently, right? All right, let me know if that answers your question. Can I delete, new question, can I delete my Amazon PPC account and what happens if I do? I have never deleted an account, so I am not quite sure what is going to happen if you do, but I'm assuming that you can. I'm also assuming that the way how you would do with this is Amazon has this very interesting way of like dealing with accounts. Even with my personal account that I wanted to delete it on the, I think, Canadian marketplace or something like that. They said that they deleted it, but I was still able to log in. So I'm assuming it's something similar with the PPC account. The way how we would deal with when you want to quote unquote delete an account, actually, we're just not going to invest anymore on the advertising side. And then Amazon, it's just going to close the account itself. I would not do the first route, I would just make sure that, okay, I'm not going to pay anymore for ads. And that's the easiest way how I'm solving the problem. All right, people are still joining. Welcome, welcome. What does it make, next question. When does it make sense to unarchive an old PPC campaign instead of creating a new one? To my knowledge, right now I'm recording in March 3rd, Tuesday, 2026. There is no way to unarchive Amazon ads campaign. You can also open up a ticket with ad support to ask them if they might be able to help you. But in this sense, what we would be doing, we are usually not going to go and open up a ticket, but we are going to create a new campaign instead. Okay, answer that one. Next question is, why would my PPC ads generate traffic but still not produce sales? A few reasons for that is we want to understand what is happening on a listing level. So it can be either listing level or either it can be ad generated level. So when it comes down to listing level, we want to see clearly that your listing is eligible to advertise. By being eligible to advertise, now you know clearly if the listing is eligible to advertise, it should be on the ad side level. Now, before I'm going into the ad side level, allow me to explain which are the things or the checklist that you would need to go through in order to see that your listing is eligible to advertise. First off, is the product itself eligible to advertise? There are certain categories on Amazon where you cannot advertise, right? So sexual wellness products, for example, is something that you cannot advertise on, and there are many, many more like that one. Knowing that is going to allow you, okay, so it's not the listing itself. One more thing, but what can cause listing ineligibility is if the ASIN gets suspended in any way, you cannot advertise. Another thing, if you're going to lose your buy box, meaning that basically you don't have any more buy box, so Amazon is not going to show the add to cart button. That's also a way how to not spend any more on ads, and it's not going to produce sales. So now that you understand on the listing side, allow me to also show some of the situations that it can be caused by advertising. When it comes down to advertising, basically, it's really important to see not only that it's not producing sales, but do you have spend? Because if you don't even have spend, it means that people are not seeing your ads. We're not even looking at conversion. We're looking at, if I'm going to showcase someone my product, are they going to click on it? Because if they clicked on it, then I spent for the CPC that it was the product. If it's a $1 CPC cost per click, at least I spent $1 on it. But if you don't have even impressions for the product, meaning that it's not even a blip, on the screen, like people cannot see your ad, it means that you're bidding too low, meaning that no one is seeing your ad. Yes, you're advertising, the setup is correct, the listing is correct, campaigns are set up properly, but the bid is way, way too low for people to see the product, right? So those could be the two things that I would usually go through to understand what is causing or not producing sales. Let me know if that answers your question. Let me see, I'm not very well centered here on Instagram. That's the problem of the word, first word problems. All right, next question. What are the different types of PPC ads on Amazon, and how do I choose the right one for my product? So when it comes down to different types of PPC, I'm assuming you're referring to the what type of campaigns can you create and ad types. So currently there are four. The first one is called sponsored product ads. That is the most widely known, 80-90%, even more percent of the brands. That's the only ad type that they're running. They're sponsored brand ads, which basically are going to help you with having specific creatives that you're advertising with, and then through those creatives, either it's a picture, either it's a video, to help people find your product and then make sales, right? The third one is going to be sponsored display ads. Now, sponsored display ads, again, it's a good option for you, especially for retargeting customers for whoever already checked out your product and they need not yet purchased, or also if you're selling consumable, for example, to show your ads to those people who did not purchase from you for the last 30, 60, 90 days and 180, and I think 360, something like that. But I'm not sure. The last one, I'm not sure if you are able to go 1 year back, but the rest for sure. So those are the three main types. Then there are also sponsored TV ads, which is something that Amazon introduced around 1.5 years ago, something like that. Those are the ad types that you would be showing your ad on TV as well. So those are the four. When it comes down to distribution, so it's also clear for you, it really depends on the size of your brand. But most of the time, we would start with sponsored product ads. We would allocate at least 70 to 80% of those, especially if the brand affords, to budget for it. And then for the rest, because we also need creatives for sponsored brand and sponsored display, we'd allocate less than that. So the rest. Let me know if that answers your question. Okay, next question is, how do I create a clear PPC performance report inside Amazon? So there's not necessarily a way how to create a performance report on Amazon. When it comes down to that, the easiest thing that I can think of right now is you do have date ranges when it comes down to the ad console itself, and what you can see. You can have the same metrics as what is your ACOS, what is your spend, sales, cost per click, maybe, and or orders number, and then that is the way how you would create those reports. You can copy paste that inside a spreadsheet. I learned a lot of things. Thanks. You're most welcome. Okay, cool. So next question is, how should I structure a broad match campaign correctly? So we understand what broad match is. Allow me to define broad match. Broad match is basically one type of targeting where you would be adding a plus sign in front of the keyword itself. So if this keyword has, say, 4 words, cat scratch furniture protector, let's say in front of cat, you're going to add a plus sign, and then all the keywords or all the search terms that are going to be generated based on that keyword must include the word cat in front. It can include or not the rest of the words, but at least the word cat must be included. So that is the way how you would create a broad match campaign. And again, going into the niche is really important. So if you want to make this as efficient as possible, what we would be doing, strategy. For example, because I was saying the keyword cat scratch furniture protector, cat protector for furniture, cat scratching, cat scratches, furniture. So all those, for example, could become a 4-word campaign. And then each time you would be adding the cat in front of cat, the plus sign. So all the search terms that keyword or those keywords are going to generate must include the word cat. This is going to work better in sponsored product ads than the rest, to be honest, what we're seeing on our end. And even now with sponsored brand product ads, there are still trigger synonyms as well. So what I would advise here is, once that you know which is the exact word that you want to make sure that it's going to be in your search term report or the word that's going to be triggered. Ensure that you're not going to add too many words within one campaign because you're just going to kill off your budget. Okay. How can PPC be used to support A/B testing for listing? So the question is, how can PPC be used to support A/B testing for listings? Let me think this through. When are we using ads to support A/B testing? Really important. Let me share with you what we don't do. So whenever we have any A/B testing, when it comes down to listing, we are not going to increase the ad spend, decrease the ad spend. We aim to allocate the same or similar amount of ad spend. Why is this important? Is because what we don't want to do is generate false evidence for things that they work or they do not work. So whenever we would do A/B testings for listing, let's say we're testing the creatives for a listing, we would allocate exactly the same ad spend or very, very similar ad spend like we did for the past. If we're running this testing for 2 weeks, for the last 2 weeks. If we're running it for the last month, for the last month. Why am I saying that is because most of the time, whenever we did tests, and again, learning from experience, what we noticed is that if we're going to run too many things at the same time, what we're going to end up with is with false positives that things work the way that we expected, or false negatives that things do not work. So really important, if you are going to do any testing, either testing your title, either your main image, either the rest of the images, make sure that while you're testing it, you're going to allocate the same amount of ad spend. Let me know if it helped. Oh, this is really important. Very good question. Let me also take a screenshot of this one so I can add it into our sessions. So the question is, where do you see Amazon advertising in few years after AI? Right now, what I'm seeing, Amazon is really pushing a lot of AI agents when it comes down to how to run ads. And by AI agents, what I'm seeing is that they either produce reports on the client's behalf, and they're sending them reports, which is crazy because they are using ChatGPT and with the emojis and everything, which looks absolutely ridiculous. But that is also a way how they're testing it. Second way how they're testing it, they're running lots of A/B tests when it comes down to creatives optimization. So they have also the Amazon Creative Studio, which is going to allow you to basically create content from scratch for free. Other thing that I'm seeing is that they are bringing a lot of automations when it comes down to, hey, we can replace you having a PPC manager, or hey, we can replace you as doing your own ads. Now, whenever that happens, I am very, very cautious because keep in mind that Amazon still has, they're making a lot of, or a huge portion of their overall top line revenue from advertising itself. Advertising barely takes them any expense, because they are just generating a lot of money. So whenever they are offering all this type of, hey, let us run your ads, or let our ad managers take over and advise you, I'm very cautious. And now that you're asking, like, with AI, I feel that they're going to improve that process better. And why I'm just a bit silly afraid of, but what I'm conscious about is that really brands are not going to depend anymore on people and on strategy. Rather than they're going to outsource or delegate their thinking to robots that they are not thinking, or even worse, to robots that are programmed in such a way to take away as much of your money as you can, right? So that's that's kind of the direction that I'm seeing right now. Hopefully it's not the case, but so far with the evidence that I'm seeing on, all these experiments, that's where we are directed. Let me know if that answered your question. What's the best strategy? Next question. What's the best strategy to scale Amazon ads without losing profitability? Zoom out for clarity and understand what makes you money and what takes away money. Simplest way I can explain this to you. Reason for that is because I just had this conversation with one of the brands that we're managing, and they are great. They have a great operator in place, and they were like, "Hey, Noemi, if we're going to double down on ads and we're going to double the ad spend, is that something that we should be doing in order to generate more revenue?" And even the question that they are asking, while seems to be, "Hey, that's normal for you to ask," they're not even asking, "Hey, are we profitable for our best-selling product?" Which is like, I'm not sure if they know. I mean, we know because we are making sure that they are profitable and that's the product that we're spending most of our ad spend, but they don't know that. So what I feel it's usually happening when it comes down to scaling Amazon PPC without losing profitability is first off understand where does the money goes, because if you're investing on a product where your profit margin is negative, and if it's not in a strategic way, so if you don't want to gain additional market share, if it's not a product launch, if you don't want to make more money on that product, what you're doing, you're literally losing product. So I'm not talking about moving inventory because of old age or I don't know, just getting rid of inventory. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, hey, this is a good product. Let's maximize our sales and our spend on something that works well. It seems to be so logical and it seems to be so easy. Yet even the big brands that we manage, and these are brands that are making millions in years. So that's why I'm saying just focus on something that works and make sure that you're going to optimize that at its best. Once that you figured out the strategy, you're going to take the same strategy and apply it to the rest of the products. Right. All right. I'm going to sip some tea in the meantime. Ryan, are you sure? Look at my belly. I'm pregnant. Just because you expect something, things are not going to happen, but appreciate your openness. Someone just threw a funny comment and was like, all right. Okay, so how can PPC help improve my organic ranking on Amazon? That is the question. Basically, this is very similar to the first question that came in when it comes down to how do we track keywords to see which ones are going to be helpful for us or not to continue spend on. So when it comes down to ads to improve organic ranking on Amazon, one of the things that we love to do is add the same keywords that we are targeting in our advertising, add it in our listings if it's not already there. Why? Is because literally Amazon's algorithm and like the search, all the search algorithm, it's made in such a way that if you contain those specific keywords within your listing, so SEO basically, then it's going to promote the listing even further. Even if we're advertising for it, it's going to, again, promote even further. And it's really interesting. And I just want to share some of my thoughts when it comes down to, I was chatting with Grok. Again, we're in the moving process. We just moved to a new apartment, and I was looking for these LED light strings to put it in the, I had the mirror project, so it's the mirror, and then on the back I wanted to add the LED. And then basically I was chatting with Grok and I was asking, okay, how do I do this, and what is the LED type that I need to buy on Amazon, and can you find it for me on Amazon? And it shared with me lots of listings from Amazon. And then I was asking, hey, are these brands advertising on your platform, or why are you showing their product? And it was like, no, not at all. And I was like, yeah, but how do you know those exact words? And it was like reconfirming this is SEO. They have those exact specific words in their listing, and this is how I did my research and find them. So back to your question, when it comes down to how to improve ads, or how can ads improve your organic ranking on Amazon, first off, make sure that those keywords are within your listings. Because if they are not within your listings, even when you're going to advertise for them, it's going to be it's going to cost you more to rank for those. Let me know if that helped. Tools. Okay, so I just got a reply to, or a follow-up to the question that was asked previously. I don't think so that brands will fully rely on tools because AI cannot think, can see external factors, and they run on which we say them to run, like ACOS are 50% decreased by 10, but the majority of tools can't see why ACOS go up and down. You know what? I wish to believe that as well. It's not true, unfortunately. Even with brands that I am talking to, and they are saying, hey, why are you charging this much to run my ads? Because I had the software beforehand, and the software was $99 per month, and it was doing a better job than you did. I'm like, why are we here then if you don't need strategic input? So I still believe that brands who don't see the value of strategy are going to apply as much as possible tools and as much as possible software, and they're just going to let it run, because usually those type of brands are heavily reliant on the brand owner to run their own ads. And what a brand owner running their own ads don't understand is how much time, strategy, and keeping up with trends and keeping up with news and keeping up with whatever, beta testing Amazon is running right now, and investing time in that. Because if you're thinking this way, whenever you're hiring someone to manage your ads, you're not hiring someone who executes as like if then, just based on rules. You're hiring someone to see whatever they think, whatever their strategy is also. Or at least I love to hope so. If you're hiring out only bid management, a software might be great, right? Because it's only execution. But if you're hiring someone to grow your account 20 to 50% or so on, that is a different level of strategy. That is a different level of understanding things. Because even in your example, you were saying if ACOS is 50% decreased by 10%. Yes, I'm here to tell you that way you're not going to get market share. What you're expressing is an optimization towards profitability. Never with the accounts that we manage so far, the brands that we manage so far, did we get anywhere only via profitability. Everyone was profitability. The profitability is not spending less on advertising by spending less on advertising. The profitability kicks in by maximizing whatever works for a product that you have not have thought of. Whatever strategy you can do that is cheaper. However, you can improve pricing for a product that is going to give you higher profit margins, aka in that case, you're going to spend less on advertising. So we're not optimizing towards this is how high the bid it is, just lower the bid, but we are optimizing towards how can we make more money instead of just spending less. Let me know if that answered the question, because these are the type of questions that most of the time what I'm seeing, so many brands, they are just missing. And they are missing it because we are in this era of advertisers are advocating, I can do a 2% ACOS, I can do 5%. And it's like, yes, you can do that now. I can do that in a few seconds, but that is not strategy for the long term. That is strategy to whenever something is bleeding, quickly, like the doctor, like what is bleeding, let's make sure there's no bleed anymore. But that is not a guarantee for you to thrive. to grow muscles. It's just simply a guarantee for you that you're not going to bleed out to that, So I think that's a really, really important takeaway. But appreciate a lot your input, because it's helpful and meaningful, and I do believe that many brands do consider that tools are the only things when it comes down to improving their ads or hiring out their ads tools only. Right, the next question, how do I know what bid levels make sense for my PPC keywords? So when it comes down to bid levels, I am assuming you're talking about what is the correct bid when it comes down to your keywords. Allow me to share something with you. After almost 6 years since I got a better or a deeper knowledge of Amazon, it's never about what are the right bids, but it's always about what is the correct goal that you want to have. And allow me to explain. Most of the time, what I'm seeing is that people are going to look into what is the correct bid to bid. And it's like, where are you right now? Are you in product launch? Because probably then you're going to bleed money until you're making money, and then you're going to make even more money. If you are in a stage of your product where your product is already achieved, or if you are advertising only for your branded keywords and so on, yeah, probably you should not be spending aggressively so much on ads that already proved that they're working for you. So for example, if you're ranked number 2 organically and you're not losing any ranking, why are you still paying, right? So in that case, we would be testing, does it still make sense for me to bid aggressively $20, let's say, for my branded keyword? And if we see yes, it makes sense, meaning that if we're not going to pay the same amount, what we're seeing is that our competitors are going to bid, and then our organic ranking goes down. That is a sign for us to, hey, we should be not taking away money, even if it's a branded term. But if we're seeing that we are not anymore going to bid $20, but we're bidding $2, and we still kept that position of the second position on the first page organically, then it's like, okay, now it could be a good strategy for us to let's instead make sure that we're not going to bid so aggressively on those keywords, and let's reallocate our budget. So that's the way how I would look at it. I would not look into what is the correct bid. Anyhow, the correct bid should be whatever your purpose is. If you want to get cheap sales and want to get a month of I want to gather data, you're going to bid as low as possible. If you want to get data as quick as possible, you would bid as high as you can, as high as you can afford it. And then based on that data that you generated as quick as possible, make the next moves. We usually are applying the second strategy. So quick, we want to see how much does it cost us, and then if it makes sense to continue bidding on that. Right. Next question. How do I launch PPC for a brand new product on Amazon? I'm smiling because this is one of the questions that constantly comes on to, like, for the 19th time, at least, on the session, since I'm running these. This is a really important question. How would you launch PPC for a brand new product? I'm telling you what I would have not done 6 years ago and what I'm doing now. I would take in exact match 5 keywords, 10 keywords, depending on your budget. Run ads for them, bid the highest as possible. If Amazon is telling you the suggested bid is $2, bid $10, and see where do you show up, and see how much relevance do you get, and see how quickly do you show up, and see if people are interested after they clicked on the product. So once that you're gathering that, now you will know, okay, these are keywords that are highly relevant to my product. If I'm going to do an exact match approach, how much money would I have to pay? And then based on that, you will see, okay, so actually it took me more than I expected. In that case, I would maybe pause a few keywords where the conversion is the lowest, and then continue with the next keywords, next campaigns where conversion is higher and it makes more sense, or CPC is lower and it makes more sense. If you're doing only this, I just taught you what So many people are just overcomplicating when it comes down to lunch. Don't do too many things when it comes down to lunch, because what I'm seeing so far is most of the time people, more of the things that you're doing, more your focus goes into it, more your attention goes into it, and then you're going to get overwhelmed because you don't have the one lever that's going to help you double down on the strategy that works for you. Start with the exact match campaigns, gather data. If the exact match campaigns are not gathering you the data that you're looking for, you can also start with auto campaigns, and then you can also start with discovery campaigns with highly relevant keywords for their product. But the exact match should be the first thing that you're doing. Um, Hafiz, I'm not sure, Hafiz, you're asking a question. I'm not sure if you're asking a question or you're saying something. Thank you for your valuable answer. You're most welcome. You're most welcome. Um, so if that is a question, Hafiz, yeah, could you make sure that it's addressed as a question? Right now, it's just like a blob of things. I'm not sure I'm getting it. Okay. Today's session is not so upright, or so upright, not upright, but so not full with energy as usually it is. You know what? I'm still very, very happy. I'm actually 8 months, yeah, I'm 8 months pregnant. Today, the whole time, baby was just kicking my heart. I'm like, this is still the best that I can do, and I showed up, so I'm so proud of myself. All right, back to questions. On average, how many clicks does it take to generate a sale with Amazon PPC? It really depends on how relevant and how targeted you are. Giving you an example, in general, if you're an exact match, an exact match means that you are advertising for a Blistex medicated mint balm, and that you're showing up for Blistex medicated mint balm. If someone clicked at least 10 times, and then there's a conversion, that is a 10% conversion. Now, if someone clicked more than 10 times, then the conversion is going to increase. If someone clicked less than 10 times, then the conversion is going to decrease. So based on that, first off, just make sure that this is conducted in an exact match campaign. Because if it's not in an exact match campaign, usually what's going to happen is that people are going to comment, preach you that conversion should be this high and so on. And they're not asking, hey, is this a discovery campaign where just I'm going to generate a lot of search terms that are not exact match, or is this an exact match campaign where I expect an exact match? Why I'm saying that is because if it's a discovery campaign, for example, you can very likely expect at least 20 clicks even, or even more than that, without conversion. So just make sure that it's an exact match campaign. Am I AI? Do you think am I AI? Someone is asking in the chat. I do wish. Now I really wish to be AI. I'm suffering here. AI would not suffer. Okay, next question. Okay, thank you, Hafiz, for emphasizing more the question. So your question is, I understand that Amazon PPC is all about finding the right keywords and using them with the correct targeting methods, broad phrase and exact match. Yes. It also involves proper bid adjustments, budget control, and strategic placement optimization to maximize performance. Yes. If there is anything else important that I should focus on, please feel free to share. Hafiz, one of the things that you did not share with me at all is, what is your goal? What is the strategy of the campaigns? Why are you spending money? You should just share with me all the tactics, tips, and so on. And I super much appreciate that. Don't take it as in a wrong, like, don't take it as a critic. I'm just asking you, all right, so once that you want to do something, I need to know where are we going, just like a GPS. Right now I'm home and I want to go to, I don't know, I want to go out. I would need an address. So the address is our goal. If we don't know, if we don't know our goal, highly unlikely for us to get there, even if we technically know how to walk downstairs to get the car, how to drive ourselves to point B, how to get out of the car, how to close, like lock the car, how to walk to our desired space, let's say to a park, for example, how to sit down on the bench, how to get up from the bench, how to come back home. But if we don't know the destinations between home, where is home and where is the park that I wanted to go to, it's highly unlikely for us to achieve it. So right now you shared lots of technical details. What else is important? I don't know. I don't know what else is important. Is this a product launch? Is this a product that already is selling? What is it? What do you want to get? Everyone wants to get sales, right? But sales come at a cost. And we need to know what is the cost that we are willing to pay. Because sometimes it can be that we should not be paying that cost, especially if we are selling a product that is highly unprofitable for us. No strategy, no insight, no feedback is going to help you to become technically or tactically better, because whatever you're focusing on is not going to help. This is coming from me, who I struggled understanding this a lot because I'm very stubborn. And I'm working right now on my. I've been working for the past few years on my stubbornness, but it has to do with being super tactical and believing that whatever you're going to do next, what is the new strategy and so on, that's going to work. Sometimes we just have to step back and understand clearly what is our end goal. Is our end goal to make more profit? Is our end goal to make more market share? Is our end goal to launch the product? Is our end goal to just call it quits with the product, pause everything? Because based on that, we can say, okay, now for that, to achieve that, what are the next tactical steps that you should be implementing? Let me know if that answers your question. 9 more minutes to go. Blink continuously. And I love the comments from the chat. Prove once that you're not AI. Suzu, you too. Prove once that you're not AI. How do I know that you're not a rogue bot that just like joined the channel? Okay. I promise that I'm not going to anymore comment back to this type of comments. They're just so funny. Okay. And you're also not rude. So if you had been rude, I'm just like not even answering. Blink continuously 10 times. I make so many grammar mistakes. I make so many mistakes. It sounds like I'm almost bleeding because I'm just fidgeting with my nail here. So if that's not human, I don't know what it is. Next question. How do I see which keywords actually generated sales in PPC? The easiest way to do that is you're going to go to your ad console and you're going to download from the report section, the search term reports. Once that you're going to pull that data, it's going to show you exactly which are the keywords that work for the product, that did not work for the product, the keywords that are too expensive for the product, for your product, and the keywords that you should be allocating more budget to. That's the way how to do it. Okay, how many clicks are, next question, how many clicks are required before we can reliably evaluate a campaign's performance? It really depends on the type of campaign that you're creating. Example, if it's an exact match campaign, 10 clicks for the same keyword is going to act differently as if for a broad match campaign where the 10 clicks are going to be 10 different search terms. So in order for us to know how many clicks we would need, we need to first know if it's an exact match or if it's not an exact match. Because based on that, we'll know clearly that, okay, there are 50 clicks on this campaign, and then we're just going to go in and it's a discovery campaign. So it's not exact match. It can be broad match, category, phrase match, broad modified, and so on. And based on that, what we can see is this one keyword, did that one keyword generate the 50 clicks, or was it this one keyword that generated 50 different search terms that generated 50 clicks? Let me know if that explained. Next question, at what point do we have enough data to decide whether to scale, continue testing, or pause a campaign? Oh, love the question. So, at what point do we have enough data? Let's define what enough data is. For us, for example, in ScaleWave is um, we're going to gather as much data as we need in order to get enough data. Now, the enough data in this case would be if we're running an exact match campaign, do we have at least 20 clicks to take one action for that exact keyword? And if we do, then great. But usually what we would do is not only test the one thing, but test 5 things at the same time. So for example, if we are running a campaign, we are running for one keyword a campaign in exact match, we would replicate the same strategy. So we would have 5 different keywords in 5 different campaigns in exact match, run them all together in the same time, run them for, I don't know, a week or as much as it takes for data to get generated. And then based on that, we are going to decide, okay, out of all these, which is the keyword that, one, we managed to produce at least one sale, two, it's the cheapest for us. So CPC wise, we can afford bleeding more for the keyword in case that it's not converting. And then three, must also be highest relevant for whatever we're selling. Because if it's something that is not even highest relevant for whatever we're selling, why are we continuing spending money for? And then the next, it's going to be which one had the best conversion, because we are treating all of them like exact match campaigns. So which one of these has the best conversion for whenever people are landing on our listings and they're purchasing the product with that specific keywords, we are converting highest. And then based on that, we are going to see, all right, so let's say campaign one, it's a CPC of $20. It's super expensive for us. So technically, even with 3 clicks, we have spent at least $60, right? So that can be something that, okay, now that we understand that it's so expensive for us, maybe we're not going to test that keyword further. But maybe we have a second keyword in the second campaign that it's costing us $2 to convert. For that one, we can generally have 10 clicks and it's going to equal with the first campaign that it was for the 1 click $20. So that's how we are strategizing the data. And based on that, we would decide when to scale, when to continue testing or pause them. So we're going to allow it enough time to generate the data, how much it costs us, and based on how much it costed us, we're going to see which one makes most sense for us to continue building on top. Let me know if that answered the question. Next question, if a campaign is receiving, we have 3 more minutes, by the way. Okay, so 3 more minutes to go. Next question, if a campaign is receiving a low number of clicks per day, how should that affect our evaluation timeline? We want to identify the reason why we are receiving only a lower number of clicks per day. It can be that the search volume itself for that keyword doesn't has enough search volume. So for example, 2 keywords, if we're testing them, keyword 1, it has 2000 search volume. Keyword 2, it has 200 search volume per month. Keyword 2, no matter how much are we going to bid for it, we're not going to get the same data as for the first keyword where people are actively searching for that specific product with that specific keyword. So technically, now that you understand that, that could be one of the factors. The second thing, when it comes down to receiving a low number of clicks, it can be how high are you bidding or how low are you bidding. In this case, what we are for sure seeing on our end, whenever we started campaigns with lower bids or as low as possible bids, we did not generate enough meaningful data for us quickly enough in order to decide to should we move forward or not. So in this case, again, the 2000 search volume keyword and 200 search volume keyword. Now, if we know already that the 200 search volume keyword is naturally going to generate less amount of eyeballs than the one that has 2000, next, even if we're going to up the bid, so example, even if we're going to up the bid from $2 to even $20, we still are not going to generate more eyeballs just because there are less people who are looking for that specific product with that specific keyword. So this is the way how we would evaluate when it comes down to the number of clicks. And when it comes down to evaluating timeline, there are two methods that we're using and in scale wave: inch up and inch down. The inch up method is going to, each time whenever you're starting a campaign, you are going to bid just a bit lower and then increase your bid as day passes by, right? Either you can increase this during the day if you see that there's nothing coming in. Either you can increase this day 1, day 2, day 3, and so on, so forth. So you can have it that way. Either you're going to start at the highest bid possible, and then once that you see that you're getting lots of clicks, you can then optimize for profitability that way. The second strategy is something that we are applying more than the first one. There are a few instances where you would apply the second strategy. The first strategy is when we are seeing that the brand is heavily reliant on brand keywords, and then we're creating new campaigns and we're creating new discovery campaigns. And to avoid acquiring too much data that is not meaningful data, which we don't know exactly how it's going to work, there we will start with a lower bid. So even if we're going to spend money, we're not going to spend money that much as if we would when we're starting with the campaign with a high bid. All right, guys, that's a wrap. Already Instagram Live shut down my video because it's over 1 hour. So thank you so much for joining again. My name is Noemi. I am the co-founder of Scalewave. I'm still saying that I'm the co-founder. Danielle told me, no, you're the founder of Scalewave. Treat it as such. So I'm the founder of Scalewave. We are an agency specialized in helping brands selling on Amazon, and our specialty is Amazon ads. If you found any value in this, feel free to join me during next week as well, same day and same time, because I will be back. And if you currently are a brand owner, managing maybe your own brand, or you have someone else managing your brand, feel free to give a shout, book a quick call with me. I would be more than happy to offer you a second pair of eyes of whatever is going on right now in your account, because what I'm noticing now, especially this year, with all the account audits that we gave, is the type of brands that are approaching us, interestingly enough, this year, they just really needed a second pair of eyes. And once that they get like, okay, I'm doing things right, it's like, okay, finally, okay, that's good. At least I have someone else to say that something works well, and yeah, these are the things that I should be doubling down on. Most of the time, the fear comes down from, I'm spending money and I don't even know if I'm doing things right. So make sure that you're going to take advantage of that free session. It's going to be with me, so my time is valuable, just letting you know. All right, cool. So appreciate you being here. Thank you once again. See you next Tuesday at 1:00 p.m. EST time. Till then, be good, be brave, stay healthy. Take care. Bye.